she realized after the fact that her husband was a rebound to the only guy she's ever loved. Yo, nigga. I'm trying to play my sis. Yes, you did. What is up? It's your girl Lex. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are returning, thank you so much, girl. Thank you. And if you're new, girl, welcome home. Take your shoes off, take your jacket off, get comfortable. I put you a plate in the refrigerator, like pour you up a glass of wine, girl. We are about to get into episode 2 of season 5, Love is Blind, okay? The mess continues. Now, if you did not watch my first episode review, go back and watch that first. Yeah, pause. I'll be right here. Go and watch episode 1 first, because you can't jump into episode 2, girl. What I do to that? But yeah, so episode 1 of season 5 already started off just messy. So here we are, episode 2, and the mess continues. Again, got my phone, I got my notes, so we gonna get into it. Let's go. The episode starts off with Lydia and Milton. Lydia is fresh off of her breakup with Izzy. Izzy in episode 1 said, hey, I have stronger connections with other people. You know, you're great, but you're not great for me. So Lydia is obviously still dealing with that, still upset. You know, she kind of brings that energy into her date with Milton, but finds a way to kind of make it productive, I guess. Milton's happy. He's happy as hell to talk to Lydia. Milton, he's sold on Lydia. All I need in my life for seeing is me and my girlfriend that loves rocks. She kind of opens up to him and she tells him about, you know, what she's dealing with and how her and Izzy, you know, it didn't work out, and you know, she's still a little bit upset about it, but understands that she has to pick herself up and keep moving. Milton seems to be really hearing her out, you know, letting her really put her heart on the table, and he just kind of commends her because he says that he has a hard time opening up about his feelings. So he really like applauds her for being open and, you know, just really being emotionally aware and communicative.
What do you mean by that?
Communicative with how she feels. So much so, even to the point where he's like, you know, I really feel like you'd be a great mom because, you know, you're really more into your feelings than I am. Which is like, okay, like there's more to being a mother than being emotionally aware, but got it. To be honest, their conversation kind of bored the hell out of me. And I also just kind of feel like it's a big reflection, 1, of Milton's age, 2, of the fact that Lydia's really just not that interested. Like, she thinks he's nice, but like she doesn't just seem smitten, you know? And it's not getting smitten. She's like, I want to open up with you, I want to be more vulnerable, but I just feel like I've been that with you, but you haven't really been that with me, so open up to me, you know? And I'm gonna be honest, what he said to her was like not to minimize his struggle, okay, because everybody has their own struggle, but it didn't really seem like he said much, so much so that I can't really even tell you what he said. Really, all I can tell you what he said is that he was super smart growing up. He had his head in his books. He was forced to grow up fast. And that's it. Okay. Also, you know, I had to think about it because he didn't really say much. But, you know, he also kind of let her know, like, you know, I have this tendency to put on a front, that I'm this expressive, outgoing person. And, you know, in real life, I ain't that, baby girl. I hide behind this wall. She's like, that's not healthy. He's like, yeah, I know. Like, this conversation was like, Anyways, you know, she's happy with him opening up. She wasn't all that happy yesterday and wasn't quite sure about how she felt about him yesterday, but she's definitely into him today. And I'm just thinking, of course you are, girl, because the man that you wanted didn't pick you. Like I said, it seemed like she put Milton in her back pocket. Like, I'm not ready to cut you off because I might need to double back, but I'm gonna go for who I really wanted to go for. And now that that's off the table, she only has one other connection, and that's Milton. And next we have JP and Taylor. Again, they seem to, they hit it off day one. And they're sold on each other day one. You know, they've been keeping it fun, keeping it flirty, keeping it playful. But I think now Taylor is actually ready to like dive deeper into who JP is as a person. Like, they've established that they do want the same things in life. They've established that they value the same things. But now it's like, okay, tell me who JP is, you know? And the first question she asked him is, I want to know more about your childhood. Tell me more about your childhood. He goes on to basically tell her that, you know, my childhood was a little rough. You know, me and my sisters had to deal with my mom being a really angry person. And that mostly just being, one, because she's overprotective, and two, because of, you know, the relationship that she has with her dad. And, you know, her just not wanting her daughters to be in the same situation that she's in. So she would get up in the middle of the night and yell and throw things, and you know, he would just have to be that rock for his family. He would have to be that person that comforted everybody. So, you know, that kind of made him grow up and be strong from a really young age. Taylor seemed to be very comforting in, you know, what he went through, and supportive, and that, you know, he's not in that place anymore. And his mom is not in that place anymore, so that's a good thing. But it was nice to see them share that moment together, you know. She even said something that like stood out to me, is that, you know, at the end of the day, our parents are not perfect. They make mistakes. They're going to continue to make mistakes. But all we can really do is take what we don't like and make sure to not repeat it. Like, learn from those things so that we don't continue those cycles. So I think that it was beautiful to see, you know, him be able to be vulnerable with her, and then her to be able to hear him out and be like, you know what, I commend you, I support you, and you're doing a good job with what you were giving, and it's okay, and you guys have moved past it. That was nice to see. Towards the end of the first date, I can't remember exactly how JP worded it, but he basically worded it like, you know, what's something that you would regret not saying or not asking, you know, by the time the date was over, or something like that. She was basically just like, that I love you. So they end that date by telling each other that they love each other. So sweet, so sweet. I like them. I have a good feeling about them. But I definitely remember Taylor saying that she's used to going for looks. So I'm just hoping that when she sees JP, she doesn't slip back into that habit of, I can only be with you if you look a certain way. Because, you know, JP, he ain't ugly, but like he ain't ugly. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but the fact that he's a good person and a sweet guy makes him attractive, and I'm hoping that will keep her interested. So I'm gonna jump to Izzy and Stacy, because at this point, Izzy has cut off his relationship with Lydia, and he is now juggling Stacy and Johnny. There you go. I'm so terrible with names, y'all. Izzy and Stacy are now on a date, and these dates all seem to be very playful. Like, everybody's playing a different game, keeping each other interested in the pods. And like I said, their relationship has been playful from the jump. If they do have that romantic side with each other, they will also have that friendship bond. And it's also good that Izzy feels like, you know, he can be himself with her. However, he also did express to her that, you know, some of the other women have been more vulnerable with him, and he wants to be able to get that from her. She's like, I've never really been this emotional girl, but at the end of the day, I think it's way more important that you know, you have somebody in your life that you're going to spend your life with, somebody that you can actually have fun with, like be happy with. I feel her. I feel you, girl. I feel you. Like, everybody wants to have that best friend in their partner. I get it. But I also think that you have to understand that things are not always going to be all fun and giddy. So when things are not always fun and giddy, do you still have that bond with that person? You know, like, that's very important. Can you be vulnerable with that person? Because at the end of the day, like, y'all, life still happens. Life still happens. And when life happens, can I depend on my partner? Can my partner be a shoulder to lean on when things get tough? Because they will. So I think that's something that Izzy is looking for in her. And he notices that it's not as prominent, but he's still willing to go forward and get to know Stacey more. He's really falling, and like, he's stuck between two women now, you know. I think he's gonna have to figure out where his balance is gonna be at. Okay, so let's jump to Chris and Johnny. You know, from the beginning, I really didn't have too much to say about them, but now it is kind of getting a little more juicy. Johnny expresses that she thinks he's very sweet and loving, and she also feels like it's very easy with him. Like, you know, she can picture her life with him. And, you know, even though she feels those things with him, she just, you know, she keeps going back to how she's always struggled to find someone who's, you know, sweet and loving, but also fun and stable. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's never had that balance. And I think she can see that in Chris, but it almost seems like it scares her a little bit. And instead of her feeling good about the change and running towards it, it seems like she may potentially be running away from it. Women, we have a habit of doing that. We know what we need, but we always find a reason for why we shouldn't have it, or not gonna have it, or not gonna run to it, or not gonna accept it. Like, it's always something. But you know, Chris, he's like, I can picture you in my life too. They seem to be on the same page about that. It's just, it seems like it's gonna be a matter of whether Johnny let her guard down and let somebody love her correctly. On this date, you know, Chris ends the date by telling her that, you know, he's in love with her. I'm just looking at Johnny, and Johnny's face is straight as hell, y'all. I kid you not. Like, she's sitting there like, him telling her that he's in love with her didn't faze her not one bit. And that's when I knew, oh, that is when I knew you lost her. I was like, damn, Chris, damn, Chris, damn, Chris, he lost her. In that moment, she knew, I like you, but like, I ain't there with you. And she even said it herself in her confessional. She's like, you know, I like Chris. Things are very easy with him. I can see my future with him, but I just had this raging crush on Izzy. Girl, it's giving, I never could get the guy that I wanted back in high school or back in college. But now I could potentially have the guy that I want now, even though this guy is not even giving you what Chris could potentially give you, which is a future that you can actually like love and appreciate. So I'm just a little bit like, girl, you don't know what you want. I'm confused. Johnny and Chris go on a second date, and you know, her energy is off. He happy, as always, he happy, but her energy is off. So he's like, you know, what's going on? Again, she keeps saying the same shit. You know, I can really see my life with you. I think things are just really easy for us. However, she lets him know that she has stronger emotions for someone else. I mean, she may as well have just took that man's heart, ripped it out of his chest, and threw it on the ground and stepped on it, because this man was hurt, like crying. He told her, he was like, all right, I appreciate your time. You're a great person. I get it. And I wish you the best. You don't have to stay in the room. You can leave now. Johnny and Izzy have their date for the day. Izzy is like really opening up about like his childhood, which I can relate to so much. Like, you know, I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household. My childhood was a bit like strict and just a little bit suffocating. Like, I couldn't do anything, you know. Sometimes I had to be separated from situations or events because of my religion, and it was hard for him, which I relate to 100%. Like, you don't get to celebrate holidays, you don't get any of that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's taken away from you because of that. He's just expressing, like, now that I'm grown, what I want is to be able to do those things, you know, have the holiday celebrations and traditions with you and your family and be a part of those things. This man got Johnny in the chokehold, so this girl is like at everything that he's saying, like, oh my god, really? Yeah, okay. Oh, are you still that? Like, she's intrigued. Like, she tapped in, baby. Izzy is expressing that, you know, he needs someone that's vulnerable, and, you know, appreciating that she is more vulnerable and communicative with him about, you know, how she feels, her emotions, where she stands with him. Like, you know, he doesn't want to have to question how somebody feels about him. They end up getting into the conversation of Johnny and Chris. So she's like, you know, I'm hesitant to tell you this, but, you know, I cut it off with the other person that I was connecting with. And, you know, Izzy's like, yeah, I know, dude was butt hurt. Like, he ain't say it like that, but he was essentially just like, yeah, like, I'm aware. You know, he was really hurt by it. He was crying, he was very upset. You know, he's a great guy. But you know, at the end of the day, we're all in here to find love, and you gotta do what you gotta do for you. She's like, yeah, like, I know, that's why I liked him. Like, I know he was a good person, that's why I liked him. And it just seemed like when she found out that Chris was actually upset, it seemed like she instantly regretted her decision of cutting off Chris when she realized that Chris actually cared about her. You know, she let Izzy know, like, yeah, I kind of just felt like he was the safer option for me. But, like, at the end of the day, it's you for me. So this is kind of where she starts getting into her past. She tells this man that her past sounds like 1,000 walking red flags, and that's where she lost me. And I'm almost positive that's where she lost him, because you saying that is a red flag. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was like falling for you and then you told me that your past is 1,000 walking red flags, I will automatically be like, ooh, yikes, time out.
What do you mean by that?
She opens up about how she has had a history of dating people with addiction issues. Izzy heard that, and that man's head just... But you know what? If you really pay attention to episode 1, she kind of had already said that, but she didn't go as into detail as she is doing in episode 2. She's like, listen, I was dating this guy. He was addicted to drugs. For that reason, the relationship just didn't work out well. After him, I ended up marrying someone else, and then randomly some girl messaged me on Facebook and let me know that my ex had died from an overdose. And I just came to realize that the only guy that I've ever loved died from drugs, and now, you know, that's taking a toll on my marriage. I'm like, girl, do you hear yourself? And even Izzy had to be like, okay, hold up, let me make sure I'm understanding you correctly. So you're telling me that the only guy that you ever loved was your ex, not your husband. And so when your ex died, that affects your marriage and you realize you didn't love your husband. I'm like, yes, Izzy, we're all on the same page. That's exactly what Sis just said. She's crazy. And then she even said that she realized after the fact that her husband was a rebound to the only guy she's ever loved. Why are you telling this to the man that you are trying to marry? We are all looking at the TV. Like, I appreciate your honesty, but like I said before, girl, some stuff you don't have to say everything. Johnny girl, shut up. Izzy's like, bro, I don't know how to react to this. I'm just taking it all in. I'm processing what you're telling me. I don't really know how to feel right now, which rightfully so. You just dropped a bomb on this man. So now I feel like you're telling me a bunch of new stuff and I don't know how to feel about it. Johnny, she's doing a lot of she's trying to reassure him that, you know, this is something that she's dealt with and it will forever be with her. But she's taken the situation and she's made it positive for her life. So she's using it in a way to actually push her life forward versus hold her back. And it just seems like no matter what she says, Izzy is still like, girl, I hear you, but like, give me a second. He lets her know like, yes, like your past does worry me. And I feel like I should have been learning these things from the jump. She's like, listen, I am who I am. My past is who I am. But like, just stop being scared. Like, I will literally do anything for you if you just give me a chance. Which even you saying that to me is a red flag. Okay, like the girl is a red flag. I'm sorry. He's like, you know, I'm overwhelmed. Let's just call it a night. Let's reconvene tomorrow. Now Johnny just kind of feels like, damn, this could be potentially why I lose Izzy. And now I'm even more in a situation because I let go of the guy that actually cares about me. And that probably would have given me grace because of my past. Y'all, the mess. Y'all, the mess. The mess. Like, it's keeping me on my toes. And so the last couple I have to tell y'all about, as always, save them for last, honey, because they a mess. It's Uche and Aaliyah. They're meeting up with each other again for the first time after having that whole conversation. He's a manipulator and can be a little narcissistic. So Aaliyah and Uche sit down and talk. She just kind of starts off the conversation with expressing how she was not happy with how he handled, you know, her being truthful about her past. And, you know, some of the things that he said to her was very hurtful and inappropriate, honey, and very judgmental. She tried to tell him some of the things that he said, and he was just like, I didn't say that. Yo, nigga, yes you did. Yes you did. Don't try to play my sis. Yes you did. He proceeds to say, well, you know, if that is what I said, then that is not what I meant. And I apologize. All right, you got the apology, that's cool. He basically tells her like, I understand that's your past and you know, everybody makes mistakes, and you know, just goes on to tell her that like, at the end of the day, I appreciate you for being honest with me because you didn't have to do that, especially with a topic that's so sensitive. You didn't have to be honest with me. You know, he basically just lets her know like, hey, this issue is more me than you. I've been lied to in the past and I have a hard time trusting people. We could have told you that, baby boy. You hurt. You need to go do some healing. Some healing would do you very well. I mean, you know, Aaliyah hears him, but she's, you know, she still has this concern, you know, like, how do I know I can come to you in the future about things without being worried about how you're gonna judge me or how you're gonna react? How do I know that I can do that in the future? This man says, well, you know, if we get married, do you not think that we're gonna have another disagreement like this? And she's like, yeah, I know we will. And I'm just like, girl, time out, because here he go manipulating you again. First of all, baby, this was no disagreement. Let's start there. In this situation, you didn't like what she said, so you decided to condemn her. So you disagree with how she handled something, yes. But then the condemning after the fact and judging her after the fact was the reason why this blew up to be a big thing. You're telling me that you're gonna give that same reaction to something else in the future? And Aaliyah, if you're telling me that you're okay with that, y'all crazy. Because it's one thing to have an argument, disagreement, whatever, and be like, you know what, baby, but I still love you. And, you know, I may not agree with how you feel. I respect how you feel. And I want to move forward. But it's another thing to straight up condemn somebody and judge somebody about their past when you ask them to be truthful. That's not how things need to be handled in the future, especially when you're married to somebody. So, Aaliyah, girl, don't let this man sit up here and manipulate you. Because that's what he's doing. And you're taking it again. But, you know, ultimately, the conversation ends with Uche letting her know that he's falling for her. And you know, you're still my girlfriend. I still want to leave here with you. Blah 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 blah. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. You know, same shit, different day. And Aaliyah seems to be happy with his apology and ready to move forward. So much so that she even ends the conversation with, "Oh, Uche, you always know what to say. That must be that poetry coming out." Girl, are you delusional? I think she's delusional. I think sis don't realize that she just got manipulated again to her face. But yeah, y'all. Oh, and then, you know, the episode ended with JP actually coming back on another date with Taylor and just letting her know, like, hey, I love you, I'm in love with you, I want to be with you, and proposing to Taylor, which I saw that happening. You know, she said yes, and then, you know, the episode basically ended with them getting ready to be revealed to each other. The door opens and then the episode ends. Thanks, Netflix. We love a good cliffhanger. As always, like the video if you like this video. Drop down in the comments. Tell me what y'all thoughts are. Like, do you really think Uche deserved to be forgiven? Like, was that a good apology? Because I don't really think that was a good apology. Is Johnny giving red flags? Don't forget to subscribe. I don't think I said that before. But subscribe, baby. I'm bringing the content. We back and we better. Again, thank you guys. If you sat through the whole video. You're a real one. But yeah, okay guys, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.